tackle.
Oh boy, it was a great tackle.
It really was.
He's still
Terry
running.
Ray.
He is still running if Terry Ray doesn't pull him down.
Kerwin Bell has to respond now, Glenn. He had an off week last week. Too many interceptions, not enough completions, a couple of fumbles, and he really has to lead this Winnipeg Blue Bomber team right back to the end zone.
Not real impressive numbers tonight. 7 of 17 for 82 yards, but that's probably part of the reason for that is because Deland McCullough's been a big part of the offense running the football. Now, Deland McCullough's got to continue to be a big part, and they got to get him back involved again. They didn't in the first drive.
Bell has been inconsistent. Deland McCullough.
See, in the first drive, Kerwin Bell on first down tried to throw it. It was incomplete. Second down tried to throw it. That's when the receivers ran the wrong pattern. Now, on first down now, he runs the ball to McCullough. He picks up 7 yards. Now he's in 2nd and 3.
He has some options.
Yeah, and quarterbacks know they have a lot more options on 2nd and 3. You can give it to McCullough, play action.
He'll put it up this time. Wrong again. There's McCullough. And he'll be close to the first down. Ball squirted loose, but well laid as Terry Ray picked it up and thought he might fool someone down there.
Yeah, I thought his forward progress got him the first down. I'm pretty sure it did. Yes, it did. They just signaled it and they'll move the sticks. And that's what the beauty of that situation is for Kerwin Bell is that you only have 3 yards to go. You can run the football. You know you're going to keep that time of possession, move the sticks, keep your drive alive, not take a chance of an interception or incompletion. Success on first down, always very important.
McCullough again, tries the outside this time. That'll be another Winnipeg first down, out near the 50. He is running well. It should be over 100 yards by now.
Well, he really got a nice hole at the point of attack. He's going to hit that right side, little jab step. He gets a good seal clock right there by Paul Blackwood to the right of your screen, and then downfield. Look at big Mike Mihalik just dry blocking Marcelo Simmons. Mihalik had Simmons on roller skates.
111 yards for McCullough. And add 7 more.
It's not broke. Don't try and fix it. Right now, it's working when 20's got the football.
When the Bombers have run the football effectively, they've posted their 2 victories of the season. In 3 losses, they didn't run the ball well at all.
Hey, key number 1 for us for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers was run with authority.
McCullough again. And that'll be another first down. Are the Eskimos suspect against the run?
Well, you know, and then you start to think Leroy Blue's back at home, and Dave Ritchie's going to keep pounding it at that front 4 until they stop it. And that's a lot of mentality of a lot of coaches is when you're running a play, even though you don't want it to become predictable, hey, if they're not stopping it, you're just going to keep running until they stop it. Don Matthews knows that, and he's got to look for his front 4.
3 receivers near side of the field for Kerwin Bell. First down again. He's got his man. Rogers made the catch. Anthony wrapped him up and rolled him out.
You know, Don Matthews looks out onto his defense, and he's got to wonder about a couple things. One is, it's not necessarily a terribly young group, and when you're talking about experience and age, but it's young and experienced as Eskimos. Malvin Hunter has 7 years. He's the most experienced, but he's quiet by nature. Kavis Reed has 5 years. After that, you got to count it in games.
McCullough, and he hammered his way through. The names missing on that Eskimo defense, like Pless and Goods playing here for Winnipeg tonight.
That's right. And
Leroy Blue, Trent Brown, and of course Blue suspended back home in Edmonton.
That's right. And they're looking for leadership. And they got leaders like Doug Peterson was a leader in Montreal, but he's new to this team. Marcelo Simmons, a leader in Toronto, but new to this team. They're trying to learn how to play together. And they also don't know a whole lot about this Edmonton so-called mystique and the tradition and all that. They're all learning that together. And that's going to take some time for this defense.
That Edmonton mystique has been going for a quarter century. The Eskimos have not missed the playoffs in 27 years. Matthews doesn't want to be the first coach to do so. But he's in a little tough shape even after week 6 because he's got to catch the Winnipeg Blue Bombers somehow or other if he can't post a few victories and grab third spot and be better than the third place team in the East. And right now Matthews has the distinction of being the first coach in 22 years to lose the Eskimos home opener.
And Don Matthews has to rely on his assistants, guys like Brad Miller, the defensive line coach, to start to teach those new guys like Doug Peterson up front and Tyrone Hines, who is now playing for Leroy Blue. He's got to teach those guys about this Edmonton mystique and how the tradition is there and how they're very proud of the history of this football team, and then hope that they'll all rally together as a group. When you look at it, just a whole bunch of faces. You almost have to introduce yourself in the huddle when you show up for work. Don Matthews knows he has to go through some growing pains until that happens, until they accomplish that on that defense.
And he's watching a new group in his front seven give up a lot of yards along the ground to Dylan McCullough. Over 100, and McCullough has carried this team on this drive. It's lasted almost 4 minutes for Winnipeg. Now Bell decides to put it up. He goes to the end zone. Flags are down. Yeah. Robert Gordon was the target. Kavis Reed drew the flag.
Well, it's a second pass interference called on Kavis Reed, and both times it was a good call by the officials. Kavis Reed's got his hands all over Geroy Simon.
Number 24, first down Winnipeg.
Watch Kavis Reed. Right now, he's basically on the back of Geroy Simon with his hands across his shoulder pads, and the ball had to arrive there. 2 pass interference calls on Kavis Reed. This one hurts a little more, yeah, because it gets him down to the 1.
So the Bombers get 3 cracks at it from there. And McCullough has his 3rd touchdown of the night. You had to give it to McCullough there. He carried the ball all the way.
And this is when they've had success. Run it to McCullough a bunch of times, throw 1 or 2, and then give it back to McCullough to finish it off. That's the formula that's working for Winnipeg. The only time they haven't scored is when they went away from it.
McCullough has carried the Bombers so far tonight. Winnipeg moves within 2, make that 1 point. We talked about Kerwin Bell having to respond to a nice drive by Nealon Green, and the Bombers have done that. Keelan McCullough has carried Winnipeg into the end zone 3 times on Adidas Friday Night Football tonight.
Swipe your club card.
Winnipeg's Dylan McCullough should be tired. He's been running all night, but he has the Bombers within a point. Stay tuned following tonight's game for the Turning Point, brought to you by Mr. Lou. Short kick. And the Eskimos come up with it, recovered by Patrice Denis. Dylan McCullough took the Bombers all the way and finished it off with a 1-yard rush. He carried 7 times, Glenn.
7 rushes for Dylan McCullough, the 9 plays, the 1 pass interference call. Time of possession, almost 5 minutes. That'll wear down a defense in a hurry, especially when you're running the football.
Now, Nealon Green will try and counter. Edmonton leading by a point. Millington appeared to be stopped, and he escaped. And after all that, he has about 2.
Tyrone Rogers is upset with himself, but I really don't know why. I mean, he did almost everything humanly possible to get Millington down. Tyrone Rogers going to come up here with 1 hand. He almost drags down Millington. He's really got the fight past the big block, and he just blows past Keisham Elmishtu, the rookie in the line at center. Dominates him. Almost makes a tackle with 1 arm.
Make it a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9. Green will put it up. Same play. Same receiver. Could be the same result as Vaughn is still standing inside the 15. it looked almost identical.
Almost identical, and I guarantee you it's about time that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers get out of this blitz mode. He's the inside receiver going right down the middle. Again, no free safety in there. Andre Strode was covering his man. He's coming back to try and help on the tackle, but Tom Europe out of the middle, and sooner or later the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to get out of that type of defense, because all of a sudden Elon Green is recognizing it.
51 for Vaughn to set the Eskimos up at the Bomber 12. Millington running well tonight in green and gold.
You know, this is the beauty of having a veteran. Rasheed Gale in one-on-one. First of all, Gale makes his mistake by giving Vaughn the inside position. He played on an outside shoulder, and if you don't have a safety in the middle, there's a ton of room down the middle of the field. Terry Vaughn will take advantage of that in a hurry and eat you up.
5 catches, 181 yards for Vaughn. Green looked to the corner, no one home. Terry Vaughn has been almost perfect tonight, hooking up with Elon Green. And he's winning the showdown, as we showed you before.
The super slots, 5 of 5 for Terry Vaughn. A couple of big plays, and look at the yards after the catch. He's catching that post pattern, taking off, running with it, and Milt Stiegel's been kind of at one catch for a long time. Well, for the 3 quarters so far. Terry Vaughn, that's the beauty of having the veteran in your lineup. Recognize the defense that can make you pay.
The Eskimos, however, settled for another 3 when 7 looked like a distinct possibility. And that time, no mistake. John Baker gives Edmonton a little more pad. Following tonight's game, the TSN Turning Point will be brought to you on behalf of Mr. Lube, doing it right before your eyes. Matthews will be a little distressed at the fact that the Eskimos haven't made it to the end zone a couple more times tonight. They've had opportunities inside the 25 and settled for 3s.
Well, we got to start giving some credit to that defense that has given up some big plays in Winnipeg, but like they said, they're hanging around. When they get in the scoring zone, they're stepping it up. But Gene Gaines, who puts the game plan together defensively for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, will likely start to switch things up a little bit. Go back to the Montreal sort of game plan that last week beat the Edmonton Eskimos, showing the blitz and then dropping out of it, playing a lot of zone coverage. Because the blitz has been burned a couple of times by Terry Vaughn now.
Baker booms this one, and it rolls right out of bounds. That's a couple tonight that Baker hasn't been able to keep between the lines.
And again, good field position for Kerwin Bell to take over at the 45-yard line.
Dylan McCullough has 3 rushing touchdowns so far tonight and lots of time to go with a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we saw Terry Vaughn going hard and coming up with some big plays. He's ahead. Now it's Milt Stiegel's turn. We got the super slots matchup for you. Milt Stiegel's got a chance now with the ball to try and get back in that race.
#1 receiver in the CFL at this stage, and Stiegel doesn't get a chance. Loose football. Touchdown Edmonton coming up. Tyrone Hines. Kerwin Bell lost it, and Hines found it. 38 yards for the touchdown.
I believe it was Robert Brown who's going to make the hit. It's from the back side, and when the quarterback drops back, he's looking to the wide side of the field. Robert Brown is right here, is going to make the hit. The second circle. He's going to make the hit. He gets right through the middle of the line between Dave Van Conant and Brett McNeil. He makes the hit. That knocks the ball out of there. Hits the turf. Tyrone Hines picks it up. and he was not in the throwing motion.
Kerwin Bell has had some fumble problems. And Baker gets a chance to add one more. Tyrone Hines getting a chance to play a little bit with Leroy Blues sitting at home watching.
That's as far as he's run in a game ever.
You think he's out of breath?
Yeah, well, he's going to go over and get that oxygen in a minute, because this is defensive linemen run about 5 yards on every play. It's a lot of contact up there, but they don't often have to run this far.
Easy scoop too, Glenn.
Yeah, he picked it up like a shortstop, takes it in. Tyrone Hines, that's a lot of running for him.
Kerwin Bell is absolutely dejected on the other side while Hines catches his breath on the Eskimo bench.
He was lying on the field for quite a while after that play. Obviously, when you're giving up 10 points on turnovers, you're not only not winning the game for your team, but you're also part of the reason you're losing it. You know, and there's a difference. You don't have to necessarily be the part of the squad that goes out and wins it, but you never want to be the part that loses it. Does that make sense?
I think I've got it. All of a sudden, what you're saying is the Eskimos were only up by a point with 2 quick scores. They're up by 11. It's 35-24, and a little more breathing room for Matthews on the far side.
The only good news for Kerwin Bell is he gets the ball back right away.
Rasheed Gale. And out to the 40. Bell has been dogged by inconsistency. 16 of 28 for 156 yards. 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles last week in a less than glorious loss to the Toronto Argonauts.
A little bit of rotation going on up front. Also for the Edmonton Eskimos, with Robert Brown after the big hit sitting on the bench now. They'll go and put in Justin Ring will get a little playing time, as will Eric Johnson up in the front four, number 55.
They go back to McCullough. A marker is down. McCullough out to the 55, and will check the infraction. I would bet it's against the Bombers.
Looks like it's going to be holding.
So that one won't count for McCullough's total.
Winnipeg, number 4, first down repeated.
It's Paul Blackwood.
He's working on Tyrone Hines, guy who just ran all that way with the football for the Edmonton touchdown.
This should be the last play of the third quarter.
Well, they need a big one. I mean, Winnipeg needs to get back in this game with a big play, get some momentum.
First and 20, McCullough again. Oh, my, he's running so well tonight. More than halfway to what he needed, which was 20 yards. He's out to the 42, and that's the end of the quarter. The Bombers are leaving it all up to McCullough, but they're down by 11 after 3 quarters in Winnipeg.
You're watching Adidas Friday Night Football, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by 1-800-HI-IT'S-ME. It's the cheapest way to call. Collect.
Welcome back. Got the Dunnigan and Schultz here. And, you know, before the game, we talked at length about Milt Stiegel and how he was becoming the go-to guy in Winnipeg. Well, it looks like Nealon Green has found a go-to guy out there in Edmonton, hasn't he?
He really has. And in this third quarter, James, Terry Vaughn has been Nealon Green. He's been in his face. He's been in his ear during the huddles. He's made key plays. Here he reads cover 0, and he just takes it to the distance and sparks this Edmonton Eskimo team. Don Matthews talked about it going out of the half. Hey, we got to get the measures. We got to put the points up on the board. Again, you've got Terry Vaughn coming off the ball, attacking, closing the cushion, running away from the defender and making things happen, putting his team in another scoring position. The Edmonton Eskimos are capitalizing on the field position that Terry Vaughn has given them. Nealon Green is looking for Terry Vaughn whenever he can right now, James.
Now, on Winnipeg's side, we're finding out perhaps why they cut Sean Millington because of Delan McCullough.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that the one issue that they have to be proud of is they've established a running game with Delan McCullough. where has he come from? I mean, really more than anything else in a league that passes, you still have to be able to run the football. And this is acceleration, a decision process. We saw last night Thomas Haskins has emerged as a great running back. Well, Delon McCullough, he's a newfound threat for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and it's so important as it gets colder in that city to be able to run that football on that ground each and every game, James.
All right, one other game in the CFL tonight. Calgary taking on Saskatchewan. Let us show you what's happening there. It's all Stamps so far. 15-3 your score. Mike McCoy with an 11-yard TD run. He's the starting quarterback tonight for the Stamps. William Hampton running another one back for a TD. Second one of the year off an interception for him.
Who's quarterbacking the Stampeders tonight? The real McCoy?
The real McCoy.
They have a 15-3 lead.
Well, these guys have coming into this game. One of the matchups we're going to watch is Milt Stegall on the two halfbacks, Terry Ray and Charles Anthony. You see them right there in your screen, and they've been doing a pretty good job because we haven't heard a lot from Milt Stegall. And that's saying a lot when you're holding the #1 receiver in the league in a game. You're doing something.
His time is now. But McCullough gets the call on 2nd and 5, and he turns it into a first down.
How did he get out of that one?
I thought he was nailed after a gain of 1.
Well, when we look at the numbers in the third quarter, you got to think a lot of the rushing yards goes right to number 20, right down there.
You covered it all up.
161 rushing yards. Those two turnovers really hurt the Bombers.
It's time for Milt, not Jonathan Living-Stegall, to step forward here now.
Yeah.
Kerwin Bell down the sidelines. Tight coverage from Cavis Reed on Robert Gordon.
Well, I guess because Milt Stegall's been covered up down the field, Kerwin Bell's had to go to other receivers. Here's what's happened to Milt Stegall. This time it's Terry Ray's turn. Wait for him to make his break, stay right on the upfield shoulder. I mean, that's blanket coverage. Can't go into that one, so now we got to go to the wide receiver. Longer throw, tougher to get it in there. Robert Gordon can't come up with it, and Cavis Reed had his man. So right now, that Edmonton secondary has stepped it up a notch.
2nd and 10, Winnipeg. Bell goes to the short receiver. Joseph Rogers, I'm not talking about stature. He was coming underneath.
Yeah, well,
comes up short.
Yeah, well, he is short, too, at 5'9" for a football player. But now let's take a look at Milt Stegall. This time it's Charles Anthony playing a little zone. He passes him off to the inside safety, which is Chris Hardy. He takes his zone. So Milt Stegall's kind of doubled up with 2 players in the zone defense. That forces Kerwin Bell to dump it underneath. Right now, a lot of attention being paid to Milt Stegall. That's why Kerwin Bell is being forced to go to other receivers. Exactly what the Edmonton defense wants to do.
Cameron is in. And Henry Williams won't have a play, or will he? It takes an Eskimo bounce. Thought it was going out. But well placed by Cameron because the Giz had nowhere to go.
Yeah, Cameron kind of put a little backspin like he was approaching the green there. Brought it back. So now it's Terry Vaughn's turn. We talked about the matchup. Milt Stegall, shutout on that series. Terry Vaughn's had a couple of big plays back-to-back, 2 series. So let's see if Terry Vaughn can keep his roll going. 5 of 181, 1 touchdown.
Not a bad night.
Very close to another touchdown. Ended up getting a field goal out of it.
And he's got a quarter to go.
Yeah. Last time he had a big game was week 2. Edmonton won that one. Their only win.
Millington. A power run. Grabbed by Philip Curry, number 53, and Benny Goods. Not far away.
Well, it'll be interesting to see now on this play and about 2nd and medium, 2nd and 6, what kind of defensive strategy that the Bombers elect to go with. The key will be Tom Europe. Where Tom Europe lines up. If he lines up deep, they're not going to send him. They've been burned a couple of times.
Green has time, and he has Bond. 3 Bombers arrive, and Bond will have enough for the first down on 2nd and 5.
Well, this time Tom Europe dropped way off. He was way deep. You see Tom Europe, no blitz from Tom Europe on this play. Drop way off, stay in the middle of the field. Unfortunately for the Bombers, Don Robinson took the same approach. Gave Terry Vaughn way too much room on the play. He knew he had safety help that time from Europe. He could play a little tighter. Terry Vaughn just curled it up in front of him.
Another Edmonton first down. A fake to Millington Green. Tries the left side himself.
You know, you always want to know, receivers love to get the football, and that goes without saying. And Terry Vaughn's had his chance getting the football, but Terry Vaughn also can do some pretty good things without the football. And this time he's going to cut Grant Carter, slow his pursuit to the football. That's not easy. You got to go down there, cut the big man, slow him down so he can't get involved in the play. Sacrifice your body on Grant Carter so that maybe you can line up again next time and catch one.
2nd and 3. Eskimos from the 32. Green will put it up. And there it is. And Vaughn will bring it down. Tough guy to tackle, too. Tom Europe had him wrapped up. And Vaughn escaped for another few yards.
Terry Vaughn went into the huddle and said, okay, I had Grant Carter on the last play. Now, Chris Morris, it's your turn. I'm going to go catch one. Chris Morris, good feet, good hands, and here goes Terry Vaughn. See, he blocked Carter on the last play. This time he's got to go out there and catch the football. Good balance afterwards, too. Pretty good yak yards for Mr. Vaughn.
Eskimos taking time off the clock. It's Vaughn again.